Welcome to the Chef's Kitchen Healthy Fine Dining Series. I'm your host, Nicole Gaffney, and we're here today with the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau, as well as St. Luke's University Health Network. We're bringing together doctors and chefs to create healthy new menu options to be featured at their restaurants. And joining me in the kitchen today is Chef Michael Glatz of Hotel Fauchere, as well as Dr. Jamie Thomas.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here, both of you.
Thank you.
What are we making today?
Great. Today we're going to celebrate healthy eating and the Pennsylvania agriculture a little bit.
Excellent.
So we've got a wonderful chicken from Freebird, naturally raised, hormone-free, all good stuff.
She's a beauty.
We've got rye berries here. These are from Castle Valley Mills in Doylestown. Very healthy for you, really good eating, and of course Pennsylvania known for its mushrooms. At the Hotel Fauchere, we have two restaurants, and the restaurant downstairs is called Bar Louis. It was in the Hotel Fauchere has been in the Fauchere family for over 120 years.
Wow.
And at one point, in the latter part of its history, the bar downstairs became known as the Chicken and the Snail. Sounds like a kid's book or something.
It does, like the tortoise and the hare.
Exactly. We have no idea. We've tried to find out why it was called the Chicken and the Snail. We don't know. Anyhow, taking over the hotel, and when the hotel was restored, and I was commanded with rebirthing the great hospitality and culinary talents of Chef Louis Fauchere, I thought I got to celebrate the Chicken and the Snail in some way.
I love it.
So you could go to the supermarket, you could buy chicken breast already done for you, but this is really easy and fun, and I just think people need to cook a little bit more at home. Buy
Totally.
good quality products, know what you're doing with it. It's not that hard. So we pulled the legs off first. We're going to roast those in the oven and have them for later use for another dish, because we're actually going to do two dishes today. And if you think about the chicken, the breastbone, and then the way it goes down along the rib cage, I'm just taking my knife and I'm moving it right down along the rib cage, and I'm able to pull the breast right off.
Look at that.
I'm going to do it on the other side as well.
It's probably a little similar to practicing medicine.
Absolutely, I suppose, right?
Medical school, maybe, a little different.
You're not carving anybody along the backbone, though, I hope.
It's giving me nightmares from my anatomy days once upon a time.
Right. So what type of medicine do you practice?
I'm an interventional radiologist, which is, we do image-guided procedures to diagnose and treat diseases.
All right.
Been doing it for probably about 15, 20 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now you're plopping them into just some
This is
water?
one of the benefits of buying a whole bird, right? You've got stock here that you can use at another time, right?
So you're using
which is
everything.
very helpful. Sure. And what we're going to do now is we're going to put all the bones in there, and any vegetable scraps that we use today, we're going to toss right into the stock because it's all flavor and it's all nutrition, right?
Fantastic.
So we're going to heat a saute pan and put a little bit of oil in it. And we're going to begin to saute our breasts. And I like to saute them skin side down. To me, the skin, everybody likes crispy skin.
Oh, there's
on
nothing
poultry.
like it.
And if you're trying to eat even one step healthier, you might not want to eat the skin. That's fine. Pull it off, but keep the skin on in the cooking process because it's going to help protect the tender flesh of the chicken a little bit, as well as impart a little bit of flavor.
That's a great tip.
So we're going to
I can
just
never say no
season
to the
them up.
crispy chicken skin,
That's
though.
Right,
That's the
exactly.
best, yeah.
And of course, as a doctor, you know everything in moderation, right? We don't eat French fries and chicken skin every day, but every now and then it's okay for us, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you're also in charge of medical affairs at St. Luke's University Health Network.
Correct. I'm the Vice President of Medical Affairs of the St. Luke's Monroe campus, which
Okay.
opened up in 2016.
Great, and tell me about what you do exactly. What does that position entail?
It's a lot of regulatory. We do make sure that the medical staff is fulfilling all of their requirements to be part of the medical staff.
The rye berries take about an hour to cook.
Oh,
And
wow,
So
so
what I've
that's a
done is
long
I've
time.
pre-cooked some. So again, this is something you could easily do at home. You could just pre-cook it if you're a little time constrained.
And they sound like they're still a bit al dente.
Yes, and they're wonderful to leave al dente. You can cook them till they're really soft, almost
May I?
oatmeal-like. Absolutely. But I like them in this form where they have a little bit of texture,
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit of bite to them, right? And so to cook the rye berries,
They're really
you could
nutty.
cook them in water, you could cook them in
Yeah.
vegetable stock. Of course, because I'm always boiling chicken carcasses and
Right.
vegetables and so on, I always have stock in my kitchen at the restaurant and at home. So I'm going to cook my rye berries in a little bit of chicken stock.
And that is quite a stock. I can see how dark and thick it is.
Well, this is because it's been reduced down a little
Yeah,
bit.
okay.
So you can start with your base stock that you can make soup with and
Sure.
so on, and then you can take that stock and reduce it down to whatever consistency you want. We've taken it even one step further. We're going to use it a little bit later. We call it chicken jus, where we really bring it down and we let the natural gelatin and stuff in the chicken bones kind of help thicken it. It only just becomes its own sauce without thickening it.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
So we've got our rye berries coming back to heat, and we've got our chicken. We're searing it skin side down. We're going to use cipollini onions, which are
beauties.
wonderful. These actually are from our neighboring Goshen, New York right around the corner from us, and they take a little bit of time to cook too. And we're going to put them in the pan with the chicken breast. The cipollini, you can see, is a little bit smaller than a regular onion, kind of flat Italian, and they have just a wonderful sugar content.
Oh,
so
nice
they roast
and sweet.
really well, and they brown up really well, and they'll end up giving a nice color to the finished sauce,
Wonderful.
as well as a little bit of sweetness. Okay, all we're doing is just searing these off nicely and giving a little color to the breast. It's going to continue to cook in the oven. The best way to do this is in the oven instead of direct heat on the bottom in the oven, so the whole thing cooks.
Okay.
Okay,
And do you
so
keep them skin side down the whole time?
I do. I cook them skin side down the whole time.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. So Jamie, you're an interventional radiologist.
Correct.
Forgive me, but I'm not exactly sure what that means. Can you explain what you
Sure.
do a little bit more?
Sure. So interventional radiologists we're radiologists. We do the same training as all diagnostic radiologists, but in addition to that, we have additional training on doing image-guided procedures
Okay.
that can use to diagnose and treat disease. So we do a lot of things with cancer therapy, a lot of things that involve uterine artery fibroids, and
Okay.
also things that would be requiring sort of like chemotherapy, dialysis work,
Sure.
gastroenterology, and genitourinary disease.
Now, you specialize in treating uterine fibroids.
Correct.
Tell me what those are and what
Sure.
the symptoms are.
They're a smooth muscle mass tumor that exists in the uterus, and because they can become large and they get a large blood supply, so patients who have uterine fibroids that are very symptomatic, they can have a lot of bleeding,
Okay.
they can have some pain with their bleeding, as well as some symptoms like heavy urination, like as the masses are pushing down on the bladder, or even some difficulty with expelling themselves.
Okay, sounds very uncomfortable.
It can be. So we can offer a procedure that's called a uterine artery embolization, which is done in our lab that can actually control to reduce the fibroids by
you shrink
shrinking
them
them
down.
down. Patients become less symptomatic, which is really the goal.
That's the ultimate goal for sure. So we have some tomatoes and cucumbers I see you're
Fresh
dicing.
tomatoes and cucumbers. What we're going to
Beautiful.
do is we're going to show you how to also use the leftover farro and the chicken legs,
Mm-hmm.
which as I threw those in the oven, if I was at home, I would also throw the chicken legs in the oven at the same time. Even though I'm not going to eat them today,
Right.
they'll be fabulous in a salad tomorrow. So I'm going to
Absolutely.
pre-cook them and let them chill down in the refrigerator so I can pull the meat off and make a nice salad.
Fantastic.
And of course you can just smell the cucumbers and the tomatoes. Spring is
Can.
coming,
Oh,
right?
hopefully. I
but
think it is.
chopping these vegetables is just a wonderful reminder that it's on its way.
It's true.
And of course, in the tri-state area that we're located in eastern Pennsylvania, we're just west of Goshen, New York, the Hudson Valley region, and just north of Sussex County, New Jersey, and so we've got wonderful agriculture all around us.
Oh, we really do here. There's no shortage of wonderful produce, and like you
So
said,
fresh.
you got your chicken locally and
Absolutely,
everything.
absolutely. Just as the chicken just comes naturally boning that out, the same thing with vegetables. Sometimes people are intimidated at home at cutting up vegetables, and you'll see I made slices, and then I made sticks, and then we turn them and we make nice little dices. People say, "Oh, how do you make those so perfectly?" It's really that easy, just understanding a little bit of technique, right?
Absolutely, it is. You have excellent knife skills, however, I must
Well,
say.
I've been doing this a long time.
A little better than the average.
Well, we're making for the next day. We're going to do a chicken salad with the leftover cooked farro and the roasted chicken legs. This is coming back really nicely. I'm going to turn it
looks
down
beautiful.
quite low and let it just sit here and be warm. There we go.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
And this dish is currently on your menu. Is it always on the
Well,
menu?
the chicken and snail is always on the menu.
Okay.
And today we're doing it with the rye berries and the mushrooms and the cipollini. That's always standard. The rye berries is the part that changes, okay? So
Okay.
in the winter months, we think comfort food, we do a nice garlic mashed potatoes on the bottom, which is
nice.
really homey and wonderful
Yeah, that
feeling.
sounds good.
And of course, as the weather is lightening up now and we're all concerned about our waistlines and we just naturally want to eat a little bit healthier this time of
Exactly.
year, we switch the garnish over to the rye berries, which is really fun. The second dish
that.
that I'm doing sort of for the next day is sort of a Mediterranean-inspired salad that's going to use the cold leftover rye berries as well as the chicken. And it's going to have some tomatoes, some cucumbers. We're going to put some Kalamata olives in it that we're going to slice up.
Nice and salty.
And we're going to put some fresh dill in it. And you said it, nice and salty. Because of the Kalamata olives, and we're going to use a little halloumi cheese, we're not going to season the salad. We're just going to let the natural salt content of the olives and the cheese do the work for us.
That's great.
If
That's
you
a great
start
way
out
to
with good
control that.
ingredients that are really flavorful, you can use less salt, less fat,
Very
less
true.
butter, things like that.
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the Chef's Kitchen.
All right, and we have Brian Bassett. He's from the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks. So what's new with the Poconos? What's going on these days?
Well, we have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
We have, we're known as the indoor water park capital of the Northeast, so we have 4 indoor water parks, 2 outdoor water parks. We're getting ready for spring right now, so we have close to 20 waterfalls that people can come and
Wow,
enjoy.
so all that ice and snow is starting to melt finally.
Yes, and starting to come down the rocks and look very beautiful. And
really nice time of year in the Pocono
so
Mountains.
spring's starting to pop a little bit, and the water activities that we have around the lake and the rivers and all the different things we have for boating, fishing. Trout season just started this weekend, so it's a lot of things going on in the Pocono Mountains, and we have some great things for families, family resorts.
Absolutely.
Outside the water parks, we have resorts like Skytop, Woodlock. We have
Beautiful
great
resorts.
Yeah, great things for nightlife for adults as well, so that they can come with their families. They can also come back and enjoy some adult time, like Mount Airy Casino has some great nightlife.
They sure do, yeah.
We have a lot of different venues that have concerts and outdoor festivals and all kinds of things to do day and night. So we have a lot of things going on. And
You
it's a lot
sure
of fun.
do.
Yeah.
Not a shortage of anything in the Poconos, that's
No,
for sure.
we definitely have
I
a lot
love
going
that, so many people, myself included, associate the Poconos with a wintertime destination, but it sounds like there's even more stuff going on in the summer.
Yeah, summer and fall and winter.
Yeah,
we're
it's
year
year-round, for
yeah,
sure.
So skiing and snow tubing, and then we have the things that you can do in between seasons, like the adventure parks. Most of them are year round now as well. So
Nice.
depending on the weather, you can go outside and play around in the trees or zip line. So there's a
Oh,
lot of
that's so
things
much
going on.
fun.
Yeah.
Don't even have to leave your backyard. We have everything we need right here in the Pocono Mountains.
Right, and it's larger than you think too. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of stuff in between to do there.
I love it. Well, we're going to have you come back and taste in a little
Okay.
bit. All right, we'll see
Smells
you then.
delicious. Thanks.
Yeah, it does. All right, what
I'm
did I
going to
miss?
check on the chicken in the oven and see how it's doing.
Okay.
Because the chicken would like to meet the snails, and the snails would like to meet the chicken.
So Jamie, how do you like being a member of the community here in the Pocono Mountains?
I absolutely love it. They've been really welcoming with open hearts. We've been in the community, though, for almost 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Primary care and specialty care have been right there in our Monroe County. But only recently we've been able to have a hospital that we can provide better access to care to.
Which
our
is really
community.
important, you know?
Absolutely.
And being part of the St. Luke University Health Network, I'm sure, is huge.
Well, being part of the St. Luke's University Health Network allows our patients to be able to get the best care, whether it be at home or we have the strength of all 11 hospitals that we have in our network.
Right, so even if they're on vacation at the Poconos,
Absolutely. There's always
they're
a St.
covered
Luke's hospital there.
for sure.
So these are the chicken legs that I pre-roasted.
Okay.
Again, I would have had those roasting in the oven last night when I cooked my chicken and snail breasts, right? And put them in the refrigerator, so the following days we can use our leftover rye berries and we have the wonderful chicken.
Great.
Then you can take these, I'm gonna just pull the chicken meat off so we can make a little bit of a salad with the meat. But of course, all of the skin and the bones, everything
All
was in the
goes in the
stock
stock
pot.
pot.
The ends of the vegetables we were cutting. All can go in the stock pot.
Fantastic.
And we're just going to reserve the meat. The whole idea behind this chicken dish is really celebrating Pennsylvania agriculture, which is the wonderful chicken, the mushrooms, and the rye berries.
Now, how often do you change your menu?
We have 2 restaurants at the Hotel Fauchere. One is the Delmonico Room, which sort of celebrates the legacy of Chef Louis Fauchere. So in the Delmonico Room upstairs, our more formal dining room, we celebrate his legacy by doing classic cuisine in a very contemporary style. Downstairs, we have Bar Louis, originally the chicken and the snail. And in Bar Louis, it's a classic Franco-American comfort food bistro. There's a great onion soup. There's a classic
Nice.
steak frite.
Right.
One of my signature dishes is sushi pizza.
Oh, cool.
Which is deep fried, so not necessarily a healthy alternative, so we didn't do it today. And of course, the chicken and the snail, and lots of things in between. There's a great bistro menu, lots of salads and different things.
How many rooms are in the hotel?
There are 18 rooms in the hotel.
So a nice, small little boutique
Nice,
hotel.
I say come for dinner, stay for breakfast.
Sounds wonderful.
It does.
Okay, we're going to pull our chicken out of the oven.
Okay. About how long does that really take to
Probably
cook?
about 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to
not
depend
too
on the
bad.
size of the breast.
Okay.
And you can see it's fully cooked, right? And look at that nice skin on it, right?
Gorgeous
And
skin.
we didn't.
I call dibs on that.
Right? We didn't jeopardize the tender meat on the other side, right? We just got it nice and golden brown, and of course the cipollini mushrooms, nice and brown as well.
Gorgeous.
We're going to let that sit and just rest a few moments. When you pull something out of the oven or off the grill, it's always best to let it rest and let the natural juices kind of calm down because everything's
Yeah.
kind of boiling inside. If you've ever sliced a steak or something right off the grill, you know the juice all runs up. Just let it sit. We don't need to eat it so hot, right?
We'll return with more from the Chef's Kitchen. We now return to the chef's kitchen.
Okay, so while that's kind of cooling and we're going to get ready to slice it for the chicken and snail dish, let's go back and pretend it's the next day.
All right.
In the bowl here, we have the dices of tomato, cucumber, Kalamata olive. This is halloumi cheese. The white chunks are halloumi cheese, which is a wonderful cheese from Cyprus, made from sheep's milk. It does look a little bit like mozzarella. It's actually got a little bit of a similar mozzarella-like texture, except maybe it's a little bit firmer. Does really nice in a salad like this. And to finish the salad, we're going to add our cooked rye berries. And again, I left these slightly al dente intentionally because I like that little bit of crunch in there. And we can season with a little pepper if we like. And then I put a little just to bring up the acidity and make the flavors kind of brighten up, kind of brings out the natural freshness of the vegetables. I squeeze a little fresh lime on there.
Juice. Now, how come lime instead of lemon?
I like that salad. It is an
Yeah.
intentional choice. I like the flavors of lime as a seasoning, right? If I just want to bring up the acid levels, I might use a lemon.
Has more flavor to it.
Sure,
than lime.
but lime is just a little bit, maybe a little bit sweeter in flavor. And I'm also going to add to that a little bit of olive oil. And you don't need much because there's a lot of flavor and a lot going on in there.
Right.
And you can see how that becomes a very healthy salad for the next day.
This is gorgeous.
Right, you can put it in a little Tupperware container and bring it to the hospital and snack on it in your office,
It's nice
right?
and hearty. Yeah, it's not going to fall
And it's
apart.
very filling. One of the great things about rye berries is they're very healthy.
A lot of
and
fiber in there.
A lot of fiber in there, and really good if you are trying to watch your weight because they're very satisfying. You eat a
Yeah,
little bit,
right.
and you're comfortable. Now we're going to take our chicken breast, and what we're going to do is slice these up a little bit. So we're going to let them rest a little bit more on the cutting board, and we're going to leave our onions right in the pan because next we're going to saute off the mushrooms. So we've got some pan juices left in there, just the natural drippings from the chicken. Of course, that little bit of olive oil we put in to start, and the natural oils that come out of the chicken skin. You can see the cipollini onions are nice and browned, and next we come to my favorite part, the mushrooms. And of course, Pennsylvania is
Pennsylvania's
just known for its mushrooms, especially with this kind of wet weather we're having.
Yeah.
Makes mushrooms grow
Should be
really
a great
Exactly,
season.
right? So I've chosen two of my favorites, both because of their flavors as well as the way they look.
Yeah.
Because they're really kind of beautiful. So these are brown beech mushrooms. And if you use nice, and of course you could use just a standard supermarket white mushroom or a cipollini or a cremini mushroom or a shiitake mushroom if you like. These were simply my choices. And you can see they're very clean. You shouldn't wash mushrooms. They're like sponges.
Right.
If you go over and wash this, it'll absorb all the water. Now when you throw it in the pan to try to brown it off a little bit, it's not going to
Won't
brown off. It's just going to start oozing out its water, right? And no need to even slice them up. These brown beech are wonderful. You just kind of pull them apart and they keep their natural shape.
They're like a little village of people.
Right, exactly, right? Sure. And one of
We
my
have 5
favorite
minutes, by the
parts
way.
about the maitake is just their smell even. They smell so wonderful and so earthy.
They do.
And,
They smell like
we're just going to
mushrooms.
put them right in the pan. And what we're trying to do is just get the flavors rolling a little bit. You can see a little browning happening on the mushrooms already. That's what we're trying to create. And to finish the
Smells
sauce,
fantastic,
we're going to
too.
just splash in a little white wine. You could use red wine, you could use no wine, you could use sherry.
Okay.
You could get creative and change flavors in any way you want. That just brings up the acidity and makes the dish kind of come alive a little bit. And then this is what I spoke about earlier, the chicken jus. This is chicken stock that's been very intensely reduced.
can
And
see
you
how
can see
thick
the
that
texture
is,
of
yeah.
it, right? This is
Very
going to
gelatinous.
sort of create its own nice natural sauce in combination with the wine and the mushrooms. And this salad, it doesn't need, I mean, you could put a bed of greens down if you wanted. You could serve some, sliced hard-boiled eggs with it or something if you wanted. And you can just change the ingredients as you like.
Fantastic.
Fine.
And next we'll plate the chicken. And we'll start by putting our,
These go in?
oh yes, look at that, I forgot the snail. How about that? The chicken would have been very lonely without the snail. So escargots, very healthy. The unhealthy part about escargots, how are they best eaten?
The butter.
With lots of butter, right? So we're going to show you how to eat them in a very healthy way by not putting all that butter in there, which I love. But because mushrooms have that nice earthy flavor, so do escargots, right? So it's a wonderful natural combination, right? Don't like escargots, leave them out, right? Now we're going to plate our cooked rye berries. We'll show you just one portion size, the way we do at the hotel, and just using a sharp knife, cutting it,
Right
the
on the
chicken,
bias.
slicing it on the bias. It just makes it easier to eat and more enjoyable. Also
Sure.
helps in its presentation. Look at that skin, that crispy skin
Looks
wants to
nice.
run away, right? We're not going to let it.
Don't let him.
Right? And we're just
Strangle
gonna
him right
plate
in.
that right on top of the rye berries. Let all
Very
the natural
nice.
juices and flavors come together. And then we're going to take our snails, our cipollini, onions and mushrooms, and kind of garnish it all.
It's so flavorful, and you didn't finish that with any butter.
There's no butter,
really
there's
any
nothing in
fat.
here, right? Very little salt, just a little bit on the breast.
Sure.
Right, get a little bit of that wonderful juice on there.
Well, this is very healthy and very fine dining. I don't know which one I want to taste first, but you guys all have to help me.
Well, start with
for
a little
coming
bit of the
back.
salad
Yes,
since it's
thank you.
cold.
Might as well.
Might be a better flavor and texture in your mouth a little bit.
Okay. I feel like I need to
Get
get a little bit
chicken,
of
a little
everything.
ryeberry, a little vegetable in there.
Go ahead.
Try a little bit of everything.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so simple.
It's so simple, it's got flavor, it's got texture, it looks beautiful. They get the little pop of the crunchy ryeberries and the wonderful texture
I
of the
love the
vegetables.
ryeberries. And the halloumi is really nice too. Where
Now,
do we even
dig
begin?
in. If you do
Take a knife?
snails, I suggest a little snail, a little mushroom, a little ryeberry in your mouth to kind of get all the flavors together.
All right. Don't be shy, guys. You know, I just want to go for that crispy
There you
skin. Call it a day.
That looks amazing.
Beautiful
It's
flavors.
wonderful flavors, very earthy, really wonderful.
Very
really
earthy.
celebrates Pennsylvania. It's healthy. Everything in it is good. It was all
Absolutely.
about the chicken, the mushrooms, the snails, a little bit of cipollini
I
mushrooms.
really love those ryeberries. I think they're the star of the show today.
Great.
no
Glad
offense,
you
guys.
enjoyed.
Not
Untaken.
taken. They're very good.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. Thank you to St. Luke's University Health Network.
having
Thank
us.
you to this wonderful chef and Hotel Fauchere. This has really been a pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Nicole.
Come
Our
and see us
pleasure.
again.
It was so much fun. We got to cook a lot of great food. It was a lot of great conversation. And overall, I mean, how can you not love chicken and a snail? That was absolutely an enjoyable time.
Wonderful opportunity sharing my passion for food, healthy eating, and Pennsylvania agriculture all at one time.